Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the value of time. Let's get this started. In the vibrant Bohemian quarter of the city of Viridia, amidst narrow streets adorned with colorful murals and the scent of fresh coffee, lived Anya. She was an artist, a painter whose canvases sang with audacious colors and swirling emotions. Her talent was undeniable. Her brushstrokes seemed to capture the very essence of light and shadow. Yet for all her brilliance, Anya moved through life as if time were an endless, elastic ribbon, stretching infinitely before her. "Oh, I'll get to it eventually," she'd hum, her voice light and airy, as she left half-finished landscapes propped against walls, neglected commissions, gathering dust in corners, and important deadlines slipping past her like unnoticed whispers. Her studio, a chaotic symphony of paint tubes, discarded sketches, and forgotten mugs, mirrored her approach to life. Friends would call, inviting her to exhibitions or gatherings, and she'd promise, "Absolutely, I'll be there," only to arrive hours late, or sometimes not at all, lost in a sudden burst of inspiration for a new piece. Her boundless creativity was a double-edged sword. It allowed her to conjure beauty from thin air, but it also made her oblivious to the ticking clock, forever chasing the muse without a map. Her closest friend, Liam, a meticulous sculptor known for his punctuality and precision, often tried to gently guide her. "Anya," he'd say, picking up a forgotten palette knife, "inspiration is wonderful, but discipline is what turns a dream into a masterpiece." Anya would merely smile, her eyes sparkling with unburdened joy. "But Liam," she'd counter, "true art cannot be rushed. It must breathe." And while there was truth in her words, her interpretation often led to missed opportunities and frustrated patrons. She missed the deadline for the prestigious Viridian Bloom Art Festival, her entry a mere sketch when others displayed finished works. She lost out on a portrait omission from the mayor because she forgot the initial consultation. Her reputation, despite her talent, began to waver, like a canvas left too long in the sun. The fading canvas, Anya's most significant struggle with time, manifested in her grandest ambition, the tapestry of seasons. It was to be a monumental series of 4 large canvases, each depicting a season, flowing seamlessly into the next, a visual poem celebrating the cyclical nature of life. She had envisioned it for years, a magnum opus that would define her career. She started with autumn, her favorite season, painting with a fervor that consumed days and nights. The reds, golds, and deep oranges exploded on the canvas, vibrant and alive. But then, winter called, and Anya, feeling a sudden chill in her creative spirit, put autumn aside. "I'll finish it later," she thought, "when the mood strikes." Winter's canvas began with icy blues and stark whites, but soon spring's gentle greens beckoned, and winter, too, was abandoned. Then summer's golden hues demanded attention, leaving spring unfinished. The four canvases stood in her studio, a testament to her vision, but also a stark reminder of her inability to complete what she started. They were beautiful fragments, but not the cohesive masterpiece she dreamed of. One afternoon, a renowned art critic, Madame Dubois, known for her sharp eye and even sharper tongue, visited Anya's studio. Liam had, against Anya's better judgment, invited her, hoping the exposure would ignite Anya's career. Madame Dubois surveyed the studio, her gaze lingering on the unfinished tapestry of seasons. She walked slowly from canvas to canvas, her expression unreadable. Finally, she turned to Anya, her voice crisp. "Your talent, young woman, is a wild river," she began. "But a river without banks merely floods the land. These," she gestured to the canvases, "are beautiful ideas, but they are not art. They are potential unfulfilled. Art requires not just inspiration, but completion. And completion, my dear, requires time, disciplined and respected." Her words, delivered without malice, but with undeniable truth, struck Anya like a cold splash of water. Madame Dubois left, leaving Anya alone amidst her unfinished dreams. Anya looked at her canvases, each a vibrant promise, yet each incomplete. She saw the fading colors of autumn, the smudged edges of winter, the tentative strokes of spring, and the barely there outlines of summer. They were not a tapestry, they were disconnected threads. A profound sadness settled over her. She realized that her tomorrow had stolen her todays, leaving her with a collection of beautiful, yet ultimately empty intentions. The mentor's brushstroke. A few days later, a small, unassuming woman with eyes that sparkled with ancient wisdom knocked on Anya's studio door. It was Alara, the legendary artist whose landscape paintings were said to capture the very soul of the Viridian countryside. Alara rarely left her secluded cottage, and her presence in Anya's studio was a shock. "Madame Dubois sent me," Alara said simply, her voice like rustling leaves. "She said you have a wild river that needs banks." Anya's cheeks flushed. Alara didn't lecture. Instead, she observed. She watched Anya paint, saw her bursts of genius, and her sudden shifts of focus. One morning, Alara presented Anya with a peculiar set of paints. "These," she explained, "are made from rare pigments I gathered from the Whispering Peaks. Once mixed with water, they retain their vibrancy for precisely 1 hour. After that, they fade, becoming dull and unusable. You are to paint a small landscape each day, using only these paints, and you must complete it within the hour." Anya stared at the small pots. An hour? It felt impossible. Her usual process involved hours of mixing, contemplating, and layering. Her first attempt was a disaster. She mixed too much paint, then realized she only had minutes left. The colors faded before she could finish, leaving a muddy, indistinct mess. She felt a surge of frustration, then a strange sense of urgency she hadn't known before. The ticking of her small studio clock suddenly seemed louder, more insistent. Alara, ever patient, simply nodded. "Observe," she said. "Not just the light, but the clock. Learn to see the moments within the hour." The next day, Anya tried again. She planned her strokes, mixed smaller batches of paint, and focused with an intensity she rarely applied. The result was still imperfect, but it was complete. A tiny, vibrant landscape, born from focused effort within a strict time limit. She felt a tiny spark of pride. Over the next few weeks, Ilara gave Anya more challenges. She asked Anya to sculpt a delicate clay bird, but only allowed her to work on it for 15 minutes at a time, twice a day. The clay would dry if left too long, forcing Anya to return to it consistently. She learned the importance of consistency and breaking down large tasks into smaller, manageable chunks. She started setting alarms for her painting sessions, for her sculpting breaks, for even her rest periods. Ilara also had Anya work on a massive mural on a public wall in the town square. This mural, Ilara instructed, must be completed in stages with specific sections finished by certain days, as the scaffolding will be moved. This forced Anya to collaborate with the construction crew, to adhere to external deadlines, and to understand that her work impacted others. She learned accountability and the disconnectedness of tasks. She saw how her timely completion of one section allowed the next team to begin theirs, creating a smooth, efficient flow. The greatest lesson came when Ilara had Anya work on a series of quick sketches of passers-by in the marketplace. Capture their essence in under 5 minutes, Ilara urged. Don't overthink, don't perfect, just observe and create. This exercise forced Anya to make decisions quickly, to trust her instincts, and to let go of the need for absolute perfection in every stroke. She learned that sometimes a moment captured imperfectly was more valuable than a perfect moment that never materialized. Anya's internal landscape began to shift. The initial frustration gave way to a quiet determination. She started organizing her studio, not just for aesthetics, but for efficiency. Her paints were neatly arranged, her brushes cleaned after each use, her canvases prepped and ready. She began to plan her days, allocating specific blocks of time for different projects, for creative bursts, and even for rest. The Chronos compass, which Ilara had given her, a simple, elegant timepiece, without the magical aura of Leo's, but just as effective in its purpose, became her constant companion, its steady tick, a comforting rhythm rather than a nagging reminder, a palette of moments. The transformation wasn't linear. There were days Anya slipped back into old habits, losing herself in a new idea and forgetting her schedule. But now, the regret was sharper, the consequences clearer. She'd feel the pang of a missed deadline, the frustration of an unfinished piece, and the disappointment of letting herself down. These feelings, once vague, now had a tangible weight. She'd pick up her Chronos compass, look at the steady march of its hands, and gently guide herself back on track. She started to see time not as a constraint, but as a framework that allowed her creativity to flourish. By setting boundaries, she found her focus sharpened, her decisions became clearer, and her artistic output became more consistent and impactful. Her wild river was still wild, but now it flowed purposefully, carving out magnificent canyons, instead of merely flooding the plains. Liam noticed the change immediately. Anya was punctual for their coffee dates. Her commissions were delivered on time, and her studio, while still vibrant, had an underlying order. Most remarkably, she began working on her tapestry of seasons again. This time, she approached it differently. She dedicated specific, uninterrupted blocks of time to each canvas. She completed autumn, then moved to winter, then spring, and finally summer, each flowing into the next with a newfound harmony. Ah, she learned that the beauty of the tapestry lay not just in its individual parts, but in the seamless transition between them. A transition that required deliberate, sequential effort over time. The colors on her canvases seemed to deepen, the emotions more profound. Her art, once characterized by raw, untamed energy, now possessed a quiet strength, a sense of completion and purpose. She wasn't just painting, she was weaving moments together, creating a narrative with each stroke. A masterpiece of time. The ultimate test came with the announcement of the Grand Viridia Art Gala, an invitation-only exhibition featuring the city's most accomplished artists. Anya received an invitation, a testament to her growing reputation. She decided to present her completed tapestry of seasons. It was a daunting task. The canvases needed final touches, framing, and careful transportation. Anya meticulously planned every step. She allocated specific days for final glazing, for touch-ups, for framing, and for coordinating with the gallery. She even factored in buffer time for unexpected delays. She worked with focus and calm, her movements deliberate, her mind clear. There was no frantic rush, no last-minute panic. She was prepared. On the night of the gala, the tapestry of seasons hung prominently, bathed in soft spotlights. The four canvases, once disparate fragments, now flowed as one magnificent, cohesive masterpiece. Autumn's fiery embrace melted into winter's serene stillness, which then blossomed into spring's gentle awakening, finally bursting into summer's radiant warmth. It was breathtaking. Madame Dubois, surprisingly, was among the first to approach. She stood before the tapestry for a long time, her expression softening. Finally, she turned to Anya, a rare smile gracing her lips. "This," she said, her voice filled with genuine admiration, "is art, young woman. This is completion. You have not just painted the seasons. You have painted the passage of time itself with discipline and grace." Anya felt a warmth spread through her chest. It wasn't just about the art. It was about the journey, the growth, the mastery of herself. The tapestry of seasons became a sensation, lauded by critics and adored by the public. Anya's career soared, but her success was different now. She was no longer driven by external validation, but by an internal sense of purpose and the quiet satisfaction of a life well managed. The infinite present. Anya continued to paint, to sculpt, to create, but always with a profound respect for time. Her studio remained a place of vibrant creativity, but it was also a sanctuary of order and intention. She understood that true freedom wasn't about having endless time, but about making the most of the time she had. She began to mentor young artists just as Ilara had mentored her. She'd share her story, not as a cautionary tale, but as an empowering one. Time, she would tell them, holding up her chronos compass, is your most precious medium. It is the canvas upon which you paint your life. Don't let it slip through your fingers like sand. Grasp it, shape it, honor it. Every second is a brushstroke, every minute a new color. Create your masterpiece, one moment at a time. Anya lived a life rich with creation, connection, and contentment. She learned that the value of time wasn't just about meeting deadlines, but about living fully, intentionally, and purposefully. She discovered that by embracing the discipline of time, she unlocked an even greater wellspring of creativity and joy. Her life became a living masterpiece, a testament to the beautiful, ever-unfolding tapestry of moments.